Hey, Magic Makers, I'm Mombierella.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. And we have been up to no good for the last 2 weekends.
Yes.
So here at Magic Making Mischief, we're going to be covering those two events. It was TerrorFest and Purgatory Scream Park. There was lots of creepy fun to be had.
Oh, much fun.
So, Mombi, let's talk about TerrorFest first.
All right. So TerrorFest was weekend before last, and oh my gosh, they had a new location this year. This is only their second year to do it, and they blew it out of the park, honestly. Like, it was frightfully fun.
Well, they've got the right season now. So last year it was during Christmas, so they kind of did like a Krampus type thing. But
I kind of liked the creepy Christmas theme, but doing it around spooky season was definitely fun because, you know, you got all your costumes and everything. Everybody's got them already, so it was nice. Yukita joined me the first day, and I did both days there. I still got a ton of footage coming up from that, so keep a watch. I'm trying to get it up as quick as possible at this point because I'm like, oh my gosh, with everything going on. I've got the panels. They had the Scream Queen contest. Some of those shrieks, oh my gosh, like seriously. They had, of course, the Battle of the Bands. It was a head-to-head basically at this point between two of the champions, the ones from Kimokwai and TerrorFest last year competed, and the judge for that was Vampiro, of course, you know, James Rivera, Metal Eve, Hellstar, you know, heavy metal legend. So they had some awesome guests. They had Diane Sounder, which we had on the show, as well as Paul T. Taylor, who was Pinhead, and learned some neat things from their panels. Actually, did you know? Like, you know that Diane Sounder was with Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens in some of his movies, but also in Batman Returns. Did you know that he was the husband on the Cobblepots or whatever it was? You know, the couple that had Penguin. He was the husband. I didn't realize that was him.
Oh, Paul Taylor?
Ruben. No, Paul Rubens. Pee Wee Herman.
Okay, got it. No, I didn't know he was that.
Yeah, I didn't know they were in that many movies together, so that was cool to learn. Golly, some of the cosplay was awesome. If you know Princess T. Ann, we're going to have her on the show coming up, I think, November. And she was Elvira the first day, and then Lily Munster the second. And she helped judge the cosplay contest that second day.
Yeah, which on November 15th.
Yes. And her cosplays were amazing. She looks so good. Oh, my gosh.
Sometimes the cosplayers are so good that when you actually see cosplayers, like, in real life, you just don't recognize them, and they recognize you, and it's just like,
oh my gosh. I saw Fairy from Peachy and Fairy there, and it took me a second. She had like this short hair in her cosplay and everything, and she says, Mommy, and I go, oh my gosh, you shapeshifter, get over here. Oh my gosh, seriously, like, you really don't. You have to really know what you're looking for. Like, it takes a while, but sometimes you can recognize them, but most of the time not.
I know Jess says, love TerrorFest this year, great experience. Now I noticed that last year it was indoors. This a lot more seemed outdoors. What's the deal with it?
Okay, so this year they were at Southern Star Brewery, and so it was basically half in, half out, but the weather turned beautiful, which was really nice. It literally got a cold front like the day of, so that was really great. The outside portion, this was the really cool thing this year, is the outside portion was free. Like, you could just come up and shop through the vendors, check out the cosplay contest, whatever was going on the main stage outside. And then there were also some vendors, if you went around the building, that were kind of a hybrid between inside and outside, because they were covered, but they were still considered the outside portion, so you could still go shop all the vendors. There were premium vendors, the guest, and I think the panels were all included with the actual passes. So that was a neat setup. I liked it. I was a little hesitant because I'm like, oh man, I've gotten used to this cool little setup in Conroe. I know how to work it, but it was good. I liked it.
Well, that's cool because it gives exposure to TerrorFest without them necessarily having to pay to get the experience. They could kind of experience a little bit of it, and if they choose to, they can go ahead and move forward the other direction and get actual tickets to check out the really cool stuff. He has amazing guests. I remember last year's guests and this year's guests. He has really good guests.
Yeah, last year we had Oliver from Poltergeist, and then also Butch Patrick from the Munsters, who was He's just a little kid in that, but yeah, that was cool. And this year,
Oh,
we
wait,
had,
wait, you're forgetting all the heavy metal artists.
oh my gosh, of course. How could I forget these?
For real.
Yeah, there was, the Vinny Appice from Black Sabbath, and then David from Megadeth. Okay, now you're quizzing me.
And Ramon.
Oh yes, Richie Ramone. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
No, there was some crazy cool guests. And one of my little favorites is I saw him again, the macaw, the parrot.
Yes, Tiki. Tiki has been at both TerrorFest now, and so much fun to get a shot with him. Actually, it wasn't until Kimo Kauai I had Tiki on my head, and so like Tiki will stand on your head, and every once in a while, like I really get excited and start dancing. My daughter had this cosplay where she was like a backrooms kind of thing. She had all these eyes, so she had this mask on, and so he puts Tiki on her head and he starts dancing. But she got a little claustrophobic from it there because she's like, I can't move because there's a bird on my head. Got this full-on mask, and she had the hat and the wig and everything. So like she's just like, and I see her sign language, help me, help me. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I can't see her face, and I was just like, okay, Tiki did so good. He's dancing, he's happy, but I think we got to get him off now. He's like, hold on, one more picture, and she's just like, oh yeah, her eyes were like, her eyes were like this big inside the mask.
Oh, poor thing.
She like, it was so neat though, because
didn't your niece go with you or something, or was that?
No, not this one. She actually went
Anime Houston.
Anyway, Houston, yes. And then she may go to NerdCon next weekend with me. I'm not sure. Trying to commandeer her because they're here from Romania, so that's awesome.
Got it. Let her enjoy the fun. So what else went on? I know there were some panels you mentioned. Was there a Battle of the Bands as well?
Yes, the Battle of the Bands was a straight up head-to-head, teeth-on-teeth of Zombie Face, which was the champions from TerrorFest last year, and then Cathartic, which was the winners from Kimo Kauai last time. So the two of them played off, and then I said Vampiro, James Rivera got to be the judge for that, and that was a tough decision, like down to those two bands, you know. That wasn't easy, but Cathartic actually did win that one, and I talked to them, and we may have them on sometime to do a little podcast interview with them. It's cool because like the whole band's just all out dressed up for it. Like one of them had a drumstick look like driven through his head. I mean, after our last weekend, we can appreciate all the work that goes into the costumes for that. So
we do. That was fun, but we'll get there in just a second. I'm going to finish talking about TerrorFest. So
then, wait, hold on. So after the Battle of the Bands, after the two bands played, James Rivera actually did Black Sabbath covers, and oh my gosh, it's so good. So that was fun, like a little treat after, you know, like.
That's cool.
I think they actually both got a cash prize from that in the end. So that was really neat that they both kind of won, you know.
Very cool. I'm excited. I know he's planning on doing it next year as well.
Yeah, actually, I believe at this point that he's going to be a fundamental part of TerrorFest. Like he's part of the family, you know. So that's really awesome.
Very cool. So panels. What panels were there? What other things were there to do on the inside?
So panels, there was of course each of the guests did one. Diane Salinger. I'm actually editing hers now. And Paul T. Taylor did his. He talked about becoming Pinhead and some of like they get into some other stuff. It's really neat. I love the panels because you never know what questions people are going to ask, and so it'll stir up different memories for them, and they'll talk about their experiences. That's always fun.
That's why I love panels.
Also, okay, I got to get the name right. I'm sorry. He was the artist at the O.J. Simpson trial actually, and he's an actual artist too, like overall, and it's Steve Welber. I hope I'm saying his name right. I apologize if I'm not, but he was really nice, and maybe he might be on the show sometime. We did mention the podcast, so And then also they had Mariana, which we've had here. She's an amazing makeup artist and cosplayer, and she's such a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. She did the zombie aerial that I did, the little short of, and I've got the whole video coming of that too. But her panel, sharing that, she did a full on thing, like horns and like these veins around her eyes. The transition is so awesome. I can't wait to show that one.
Very cool.
She walked around with it all day. I had to ask her, I'm like, is it heavy? Like the horns thing? Is there weight to this? She's like, a little bit. Yeah, it feels a little off, but.
Well, I think it's a good transition into what we did this weekend, since we're talking about Mariana.
Yeah.
This weekend
I've got some stuff. Do you want me to share my stuff first from TerrorFest?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Let me share my haul. Okay. So there was this booth called Decades, and they have a Facebook, and they're in my video. In fact, they're in the one I already put up. And so I got some neat vintage stuff from them. Check this out. My daughter hopefully isn't watching because this is her Christmas present. But I got a little alien bear thing. Isn't he cool looking?
That is cool. He's cute.
Like yeah, so neat. And then this was nostalgic to me. Hold on. It's like, I don't know if you remember these. It's Cabbage Patches, and it's a little clippy thing. So if you can see her face, she's just a little Cabbage Patch on. And I remember these. I had one of these.
I had one.
Oh my gosh. I got my son one of their t-shirts. I had a bucket full of different t-shirts, and I got this one for him. So this is, can we see? Okay. There we go. Goosebumps. There we go. That was Decades. God, they had so many great vendors there. My gosh, like literally. I probably spent way more than I should have. I could have spent money there all day.
We usually do. That's a thing that we do.
These are coasters, and they're they kind of got set in the sun, so they've melted a little bit. I need to flatten them out, but these are coasters, and this was Get Fictional, and she had these cool candles and stuff that she did too.
Huh.
She had this neat zombie candle, and it had like a brain on it. She goes, yeah, the brain is for the candle too. It all melts. It all smells good. I was like, oh my gosh. She had a ghost-shaped candle. Okay.
Wouldn't imagine a candle that has brains in it to smell good, but okay.
You know, right? I was like, what is this? I think it was sandalwood on that one. It was weird. I was like, okay, it smells good, man. And then, hold on, let me get these out. So Jackie Offline, Yukita and me fell in love with this woman's stuff. This was a pair of earrings, also a Christmas present that I got for my daughter. Clear, their little ghost, and she had so much movies and just cute stuff. And that is Jackie Offline, and she even made the ones that I'm wearing now. If we can see these. They're little cameos. Oh my gosh, I love them. And just her whole booth. I would have bought her whole booth out.
Nice.
I also, let's see, who's this one? I'm not sure. This is somebody that I talked to. I didn't get anything from his booth yet, but Flynn Prigine, he did the art from a lot of album covers and stuff. Like he had these movie posters stuff. I asked him, I said, is this art that you redid? He goes, no, this is my art. And I was just like, oh wow, that's really cool. I've still got part of this too. Okay, they had this booth, and it was Sweetheart's Bakery, and they had all these spooky treats. I still got half my my pumpkin snickerdoodle on.
Cool.
And I got like this monster popcorn ball that had eyeballs and sprinkles, and got 3 other cookies. Hence why that cookie is still here. I got so many sweets from them. They were so good. I got one of the Rainmakers. I don't want to grab it because it's kind of big, but the inside booths, they had these premium vendors, and that was some of the ones like the photography. Oh, I don't have the picture, but there's a photography booth, and it's my brain, Pyramid Effects, and they will put you into these scenes, and like there's one where you look like you're just hanging half a body with the spinal cord. It is so neat. And then the other thing, the last thing I got, it was the Artists in Arms is a charity, and they do like an auction. So this was actually what we won in the auction, and the artists that are there do the work themselves. So this is a gorgeous pencil sketch. He had all these awesome pencil sketches. Actually, I loved his art. And this one's Elvira. So I thought that was so cool. They had a few. Hold on, I'm trying to remember his name. My brain. Is it Jeff's Apothecary? Okay, he'll be in my video, so if you remember it, comment below. But I know he signed it. You can never read the autographs though. Yes. Okay, so that is my TerrorFest haul right there. All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
So the last weekend was Purgatory Scream Park, and oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
So much fun. We had Shane Glasgow on last week. It was a pre-recorded. And because it was pre-recorded, I'm gonna take one quick second. Because it was pre-recorded, we were not able to talk about Greg Kelso, who passed last week. Greg Kelso is the original host of the Con Hour. He is Greg Kelso, the Con Hour man himself. So his passing will have affected many within the Comic-Con community, and he is going to be sorely missed. So, Greg, thank you for bringing the Comic-Con world to those via podcast.
Yes, he is the one who actually started me in the whole con scene, especially the local events, and I will always be grateful for the influence he had on me and the friendship we had. Definitely.
But take a moment before we jumped into that, because we didn't have a chance to do it last week because, like I said, Shane Glasgow's was pre-recorded. So on to some real fun. The Purgatory Scream Park. Hubby and I came down because we moved to Oklahoma. We came down for the weekend to share it with Mombi and Nikita and Jazz, and we were able to have tons of fun. And Mombi's kids were there as well.
Yeah.
Well, when we first got there, we went out Friday night and got some, I don't know what it is.
Faux.
That was fun. And then Saturday night after we ate, we went over to Spirit Halloween. And we were looking for some zombie stuff because if you remember from last week's, if you were watching it, we were going to be the zombies Disney princesses. So we needed to find the stuff to make the zombie Disney princesses. So do you want to tell them what we found?
All right. So we ended up with bags full of all kinds of makeup stuff for this, including latex, fake blood, scab, everything you could think of that we would possibly think we'd need for this because we all had our own ideas. And I love CJ got these scratch mark kind of scar pieces too. Well, not even scars, like fresh scratch marks that had to be attached to everything.
Well, we all did different ways. So
we did. I love that we all had our own stories. And my daughter even decided, Mia's like, I'm going to do Rapunzel. Can I do that? And so since her hair's short, she's like, I'll do her after her hair cut off. So she was a huge help, like getting this together. So we went over to the hotel room where CJ and Super Heavy were, and we all worked together to get all of ourselves set up as the zombie princesses. And I'll share the process of that somewhat, as well as the Purgatory video. Actually, they let me take my camera in, so thank you so much for that to Shane Glasgow for letting us have that permission. That was
normal.
Yes, that is not normal. They do not allow filming or videoing, so please don't take your cameras in because you will get a lot of no cameras when you go in if you do. So
okay, now hold on a second. I need to show. So for those of the video, you can see it. For those that are hearing and listening only, the picture up shows us with our final products. So we have Rapunzel, Orla as Rapunzel. We have Yukita as Jasmine. I am Merida, and Mombi is Ariel.
And so I actually made my costume, like it's the sail dress for those who don't see it or don't recognize it from when she first gets legs, she wraps the sail around her in the rope. So I made this whole little outfit for it because I thought that'd be the best one for her to have for the zombie thing.
So this is my first experience with the whole latex zombie thing. So after we got everything on Saturday, we met at the hotel, 3?
Yeah, about 3. We should have met a little earlier. It took a little longer than anticipated. First time doing it.
Okay, so for Rapunzel, if you saw her face, she died of blunt force trauma.
She jumped out of the tower.
Yukita's Jasmine died because Raja pounced her, so she like bruises of
paw print shapes on her.
Mombi died because the sea witch grabbed basically her jugular to get the necklace off.
Trying to get the voice back. I lost the battle.
And then I died because a bear got me here, and of course got my carotid. And people are like, "Well, I'd hate if you look that bad. I'd hate to see the others." I said, "Well, Mama Bear and apparently 2 of the baby bears are dead because I only had one of the bears." So
yeah. we each had our little animal too. I had Scuttles. Cindy had the bear for Meredith.
You also had Flounder.
I did, but Flounder could not make it through the spook house. Oh my gosh. I kept dropping him. I'm like, Flounder is not going in here. And that
Yeah,
was the
I ended
lights.
up taking him partway through, and then Yukita ended up taking him partway through.
Yeah. Yeah, that just didn't work. He was floundering everywhere.
He was trying to get away. He was afraid, and I don't blame him.
Yeah. She had her little Raja tiger.
It was fun. I'm not creepy into the creepy stuff, but being able to go through it lights on first helped me to kind of in my head determine what was real and what wasn't.
I think it's cheating.
That's okay. But I had hubby's arms around me the entire way through, and he went to leave me at one point, and I grabbed his arms and pulled him back around. I'm like, no, not till we're done with this.
No, that's definitely cheating. No, but yes, we really appreciate the lights on walkthrough because it was cool to get to see a lot of the details that you miss, because you get in there and it's dark and it's foggy and there's people,
so they're trying to get people through, and
there's a lot going on when you're in there. But yeah, we get to see some
are amazing. Like it looks like some of them were like possessed because of the contortion that they were in.
Yes. Oh Lord. At one point, I literally look at CJ because this girl had contorted in such a way that I'm like, that's not normal. What's wrong with her? I mean, I was just like, how does her head get back around the shoulder blade? What happened there?
But it was really cool. I mean, we kept hearing things when we went back for the night one. Like we heard cannons going off. There
was a lot more. Yeah. And he told us, he said, there's going to be a lot more, this is just what it is right now. We saw some cool stuff though with the lights on though that I thought was neat that I might share like a little bit. I don't want to give away too much because you want to go in there and not know what to expect.
Well, and going through with Shane because he shared the details, like the fact that the bricks were like hand done each one. It wasn't like a facade.
Not the panels that they saw. Yeah, not like the things you can buy. They actually handmade that. There's a room one of the first ones you go through, and on the walls are pictures. There's faces. It's layers. There were faces in there, and you can't. I don't know. I didn't see it again when we were through, so I don't know if you can.
It's not wallpaper. What it is whatever they did, and there's pictures behind it that kind of made it look like torn paper, but it's not wallpaper on any of those walls.
The incredible details. Oh my gosh! Like. Actually, there was just they just shared, they made #1 in this countdown of the top 5 haunted houses and stuff in Texas, and they totally deserve that. Yes.
Totally well deserved. Way to go, Shane. Well done.
The crew is amazing. Yeah, like they scared the pants off us multiple times. Well, not literally. That dress, I was a little worried when I went in there because it's strapped.
We had to restrap Ariel in a couple times.
I was a little worried that might be the issue. There was one thing that was nice to know on our part was that there is a part where the floor slopes.
Yeah, and as it went through during we had a Merida down situation. It's like a big ball pit, but it is super deep. There's lots of it, and
it's thin. It's thin.
So I had gone, and there's like a ramp that goes down into it. So not only had I fallen in and gone down, I had to refine my bow and arrows and,
taking props is tricky. I would not suggest it. If you can leave them in the car, leave them in the car. Wearing heels, no go for this. I would say at all.
No, you can't run. There's all sorts of creepies. They prey on pretty much every fear that every person has on their life. There's even Trevor and Jazz, when they went through, our hubbies, who are like beasts and aren't afraid of anything, actually got scared. And then there was the end where I pretty much pushed Mombi because there was a chainsaw guy at the end, and she's trying to talk to him, and I'm trying to push her out. So
it was the very last, and he's standing right in front. I'm like, how do I get around? And I'm like,
he's not going to get you. Go.
They're just like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. I just, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice chainsaw.
Oh, and then because everybody was scaring me, we kind of have a family joke about, you're really pretty. It's usually if you do something stupid. But they kept going through it, and there were some really ugly looking characters in there. The actors were great, but they were so scary. Oh, you look really, really pretty. You're really pretty. And after a while, Mommy's like, oh, you're really pretty. And then there was one that I said that to, and he kept following us. And I'm like, you're really pretty, but go away.
Oh my gosh. At one point, I think it was one of the moments, every once in a while they'd ask us about the camera because they weren't, I don't think the word had passed through that we had permission. And so one of the girls, I think it was the clowns, right? And she's like, what are you doing with that? Are you supposed to have that? I don't think you're supposed to have that. And I was like, actually, we have permission. And so I told her, and then all of a sudden I was like, and she's following me. And you're really pretty.
Jazz says, I would like to unequivocally deny any claim that I was scared. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep.
Definitely jump scare. Definitely a lot of jump scares in there. You know, they're gonna get you one way or another. You're gonna jump. You're gonna squeal. I mean, something. You know, is gonna
Totally recommended it.
variety. Wow, just like so many different sections, so much variety to it. It's just like amazing. It's mind blowing. It was definitely an experience. If you have not been, you need to check out Purgatory Scream Park.
Well, and the cool thing is he changes something every year. So like this year, I think is the last year for the big ball pit. Thank God, because I think I might next year if we go again. So
I saw in the dark one. So like we went through in the dark, and all of a sudden I thought I was through, and all of a sudden the ball hit my foot, and I just shook. I'm like, look, the splits. I can't do the splits. This is bad. So then I get up, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. We're going up the ramp. Well, the balls had pushed into the ramp, and there was this cushion around it, and I'm sinking, and I'm just like, mermaid down, mermaid down,
mermaid down. Merida was down earlier, mermaid's down now. Is it kid friendly? That is a question regarding the parent. If so, I would do teens and older. I would not do little kids.
Mine are 15 and 19, and they went through the whole thing, and I think they loved it too. So I'd suggest definitely teenagers would like it. As far as younger kids, it depends. Are they going to freak out and start crying? I would not take them if that's the case. I think my kids could have handled it, honestly, because my kids are kind of bruised and weird.
Right, but there were a couple areas like those big airbags that we had to push our way through that
if you're claustrophobic, if you're like extremely claustrophobic, like it's going to be like a meltdown for you, I would actually suggest probably not doing some of this because there are very tight spaces. And I mean, like there's a section.
If you have seizures, like we would not take our daughter through who's 22 because she has seizures. So there's the flashing lights that are usually in horror places, which why she doesn't go. So just no, laugh out loud, mermaid down. Yeah, it was mermaid and Merida down through both of the trips. It was
the same pit. It was the same section. How did we...
And you were laughing at me earlier when I fell. So I had like that much compassion for you.
I know. Because I get that from my mom. It's like somebody falls and we're like, you okay?
Yeah, she didn't help me up. I had Yukita helping me up when I went down.
I'm filming. I'm like, hold on, stay on for a second. I gotta get the camera.
Oh, and one of the things when we were in the carnival area, we got to play basketball with the zombie heads.
Yes, they're decapitated heads, and every once in a while, someone gets a chance to chunk one.
Oh yeah, and if you're terrified of clowns, like absolutely, positively terrified, like
definitely.
But as far as kids, I would do teens. Yes,
I would definitely take my teens. My teens loved it. They are supposed to, as far as I know, there is a band that plays there, Necroclown, and they were in TerrorFest competition last year. So I shared the Battle of the Bands from last year if y'all want to check them out. Mm-hmm. And they are, oh my gosh, like they're part of the whole show. So I don't.
They weren't there this last weekend, but really good because they have some outside stuff while people are waiting in line. So you're not bored just standing there waiting in line. We were having fun. If you see the video I posted, we were dancing to some of the music outside of the line. But him and his crew are really good at keeping your attention all the way through. Even before they get into line, there were some of the monsters walking around.
Interacting. Yes, that was awesome. They're out in the courtyard kind of area, and as the line's there, they're messing around and talking to people and creeping them out, getting them all ready, psyched up for it.
They also make sure that there are no weapons that come through. There is a metal detector. And
yes.
Security is very good at what they do. We had to let them know that we had a camera coming through, so he let his crew know that there was a camera coming through. So again, hands down, Shane, you did an amazing job. You deserve to be number one.
Absolutely. And I think Necroclown will be playing at Purgatory on the 28th. So that's like the Saturday before Halloween. And actually, I might come check that out because they're really good. And it was when they had.
I was gonna say I would totally recommend it. I would totally recommend TerrorFest. Both of them were absolutely amazing. I will share our picture one more time for those that have tuned in a little bit later. This is what we look like as our zombie
Zombie
princesses.
princesses. So much fun. And I'm so glad we got to go to both events. I mean, just epic. Perfect for spooky season. And highly suggest all. Yes.
Definitely. Totally recommend. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. Totally recommend. But we've run out of time. Next week, we're going to have the dead Edgar coming in to talk to him. The spooky season continues. Until next time, Mombi.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Love y'all. And until next time, mischief managed. Bye.
Bye.